The cease and desist letters are being written fast and furiously. Time Warner is the first cable company to offer an iPad app that allows its customers to stream live television. And that's a plus for Time Warner cable customers because they don't have to pay extra. But content providers like News Corp, Viacom, Discovery Communications all claim that this is a violation of their contracts. Will this end up in court? Richard Greenfield is the managing director of BTIG. He's been named a top stock picker by the Wall Street Journal and the Financial Times. He's here with us now. This is going to the courts, you think?
I think, we saw a big action yesterday. Yesterday Time Warner basically caved. So Time Warner Cable actually removed channels from the three companies you mentioned, both Viacom, News Corp, and Discovery, all had their channels removed. So you saw 11 of 32 channels literally evaporate overnight, basically as a result of those cease and desist orders. My guess is they're going to go into protracted negotiations. This may end up in the courts or not. At least for the moment, Time Warner appears to have backed down on channels that were questioning their authority to do this. Although there's word that's circulating around that Cablevision's about to launch their app any day now. Supposedly it's awaiting Apple's approval in the App Store, and the Cablevision product won't just be 32 channels the way Time Warner's was. It's going to be your entire television. Every channel that you subscribe to, you're going to have access to through this Cablevision app. It's basically going to just be an IP-enabled television screen called an iPad. And they're going to deliver it over broadband. And it's really going to get at the heart of the battle of what are you allowed to do, or what is a multi-channel video operator, whether it's a cable company, a satellite company, what are they allowed to do in the home with their current contracts? That's a debate.
And for that, how is the pay structure? I know it's just rumored at this point, but what is the pay structure that makes it different from Time Warner? You just pay for the app, or are the content providers getting rewarded in some way?
No, in the Cablevision example, it would be the exact same thing. Both Time Warner Cable and Cablevision fundamentally believe that their contracts enable them, as long as they're delivering the content over their own broadband networks directly to your home, and you are staying in your home.
Before tablets even existed, right?
Absolutely. This is showing the kind of how technology is outpacing the contract structure of the industry. And so what you're seeing is, are they allowed to do this? Cablevision's going to offer this. Time Warner's obviously offered it. They're not paying the cable or the content owners any incremental money. But look at the reality. What are your choices? If you get an iPad, you can watch Netflix for content, which is older content generally. Instead of watching current live television, you're going to watch something from a couple years ago, which I think from a behavior standpoint probably isn't good for the content companies. Or piracy, which is very robust and lots of opportunities to watch content illegally over any of these mobile devices. And so fighting this trend, especially when you're in your home, is really hard for us to digest. It seems like it's really fighting technology, but it really just comes down to one thing, which is advertising. Right now, if you watch television on an iPad, Nielsen is not tracking those eyeballs. And so just everybody wants their advertising eyeballs.
Right, because then if they can add in the tablets to the TVs, they can charge a higher ad rate. So who is in that market? Who is tracking iPad viewership? Nobody yet.
Nielsen says at some point over the course of the next year they're going to do it. Obviously, there's other companies that I think are certainly trying to have a role in tracking viewership on new devices. I think Rentrack's trying to do things like that. There's a lot of players who want to be involved. TiVo's certainly trying on their boxes. There's companies like Rovi. There's a lot of people trying to get into this tracking element. But right now, that's probably the heart of the fight. If there was a way to actually know and cume the eyeballs, and so if you were watching Bloomberg on an iPad and you were watching Bloomberg on a television, and that was cumed to one aggregate number, I think the battles that you're seeing with Viacom, News Corp, Discovery, there would be very little to fight about.
It's about strategy, right? It's either you're building your brand and building your base, but you've got to somehow build the ad rate at the same time, and it's matching those two that seems like the hurdle.
Well, and it's the same thing that's, if you go home, and any of your viewers right now probably have video on demand over their set-top box, whoever their subscriber, distributor is. The content, though, is pretty lacking most of the time. You don't see the best content usually on the video on demand platform from your video distributor.
Or it's delayed. Right?
Yeah, and the reason is because the distributor hasn't wanted to pay a lot more money. If they were willing to pay a lot more money, they would get the best of Bloomberg or the best of MTV. It's that issue of wanting to be paid incrementally, and it's the same thing that you're now seeing on mobile devices or portable devices is we want to get paid more. We enable more platforms, pay us more. On the other hand, you got the issue of the consumer who's got all these new things out there, lots of piracy, lots of new over-the-top providers like Netflix. And it seems like there's a real risk of fighting what the consumer wants in hopes of getting a little bit more money when the risk of disrupting the whole ecosystem is really a problem for these companies.
And I love that on your blog, you were talking about the doorman in your building streaming illegally live television. So they're going to be consuming it that way anyhow.
This doorman was watching, he was watching American Idol. Would he have watched it through a legal platform if it was available? Sure, but there is no way to watch American Idol legally on an iPad, and so he turned to an illegal means. And it just shows you how if you don't serve the consumer, technology is moving at such a pace, they're going to figure it out, and you're going to end up hurting your business versus helping it.
Is this in any way beneficial to Netflix, given that they've already decided that the iPad and that third screen is the home they're going to own?
I think Netflix has basically shown you that wherever you want to be, we're going to serve you content. We may not always give you the freshest content. We may not be able to afford the freshest content.
They did have that deal today with 20th Century Fox.
You can certainly watch The Wonder Years. I certainly enjoyed watching The Wonder Years. Now you can watch The Wonder Years as much as you want.
They signed Glee.
They did sign Glee, season 1, not the current season.
Okay.
But there is a real struggle in Hollywood right now of how much content do you make available? Glee is a show that is going to go into syndication. Should Glee have been syndicated? These are the types of debates. CBS just made a totally different decision. Les Moonves has basically said any show that currently is airing, we will not allow on Netflix until it finishes its run. So shows like Dexter and Californication are actually going to come off of Netflix later this summer because he doesn't want anything that they're showing on the air in any season to be available on Netflix. Obviously, News Corp took a different view. Disney's taken a different view. Everyone is trying to figure out what the right digital strategy is right now. I think there's a lot of big question marks of how do you maximize profitability. Certainly, Netflix has been a winner by giving the consumer what they want from a platform standpoint.
Well, the consumer's leading them there. Technology's leading them there. They're going to have to play catch up. Thank you so much, Rich.
Thank you.